Welcome to HerMusicWorld.
Добро пожаловать.
Chào mừng bạn đến với thế giới
Witajcie.
Swagat afghanistan.
Mabuhay sa mundo ng musika.
A podcast with women from the music industry.
But sometimes we really forget the women who are in marginalized communities, and they are either in the rural areas or nomadic people, but that they keep the music strongly alive in their daily life and tradition. My musical journey in my life, yes, I started with this instrument, and I still play it, of course. I never could imagine any moment without, because this is the roots of my story. In funerals, like when especially someone young passed away, then in Iran, in this region, they sing wedding songs. I really want to share this to the world, that these women of these regions, they are not the victims. They are really strong. They are really strong that how they can build and go on. And this is very much valuable to see also this side of it. It's more about the strategies that the women create to overcome the censorships. The solution is not just immigration, that to go, okay, I cannot sing there, okay, then I go. And at the moment, many of the women, they are the ones that they have the condition, they exit the country. But I know that many of them, it's really, not many, I think majority of them is forced migration because they don't want, because they want to stay in their country and they want to compose a song or they sing. It's related to the place they are coming from. Not always that we think that we just learn the music of our countries, but we are open to exchange and to learn. And this, for me, this ensemble is so much liveliness and learning from each other.
Welcome to another episode of HerMusicWorld. I'm Zoey Zoley, and today I have the pleasure to sit together with Yalda Yazdani. Hello, Yalda.
Hello.
And she's an Iranian-born ethnomusicologist, curator, tar player, and filmmaker, who is currently working as a research fellow and also completing her PhD studies at University of Siegen in Germany, correct?
Yes.
Cool. From 2015, she has been organizing various intercultural projects, documentaries, music workshops, and concerts across Iran and Europe, with the aim of creating collaboration bridges between European and Middle Eastern musicians and artists. In 2017 and 2018, she founded and curated the festivals Female Voice of Iran, and in 2021, the festival Female Voice of Afghanistan, in collaboration with Contemporary Opera Berlin. There are multiple documentaries that you also have worked on, and one can find on YouTube, which are very moving and worth a watch. All right, so that's my introduction to you, what I found on the webpage. I also like to tell the story how we get to know each other or got in contact, because about a half year ago, I sent out a post asking for women that are working in the music industry that I would like to interview. And you were one of the few women that said, hello, I'm Yalda, and I do this and this project, especially regarding women from Iran and the documentaries. And so I was like, okay, let's get in touch. But it took a half year, as always, as in life. When I do my interviews, I usually have 3 casual questions at the beginning. I don't know if they work, but we will see. Have you ever had one or more goosebump moments in connection with music? And if so, what was that moment? Can you recall that moment?
Just to tell this memory, I mean, you mean many situations, of course, because, because... But one of the special moments for me was when I was traveling in the southwest of Iran near the Zagros Mountains to see the Qashqai nomadic women. Mm-hmm. That they most of their lives they live in the nature, and so their living style is so much connected to the environment and natural environment and nature. And I was spending time for a while to also stay with them, to know about their music, their culture, their daily life. And I saw the moments that they sing while they are working, or lullabies for their children, or sometimes also like they were just alone and they were whispering some melodies. And this was, for me, when I heard these voices for the first time, I was so much touched, because I saw that how possible that this women, they never have any like to go to music lessons or schools or universities, but such a strong voice they have, and the melodies that they create all their own, and it's completely inspired by the nature and the living style they have as a nomadic woman. And it was so strong because you could hear these elements of nature in their voices, and it's a really for me was when I saw this, and I see their creativity and the ability of creation. This was really one of the most inspiring moments for me that actually made me to go on these trips.
So would you say it's also a transgenerational teaching from like the grandmothers and so on, that they taught their, so to say, technique? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I was because I saw like it's very interesting that, of course, later I tell you more about this situation in Iran, about because of the social political issues, especially mainly political issues after 1979. Yes. So this we will go later on it to talk about it. But in general, we always think that the music is in many cases is forbidden for women in the urban areas. But sometimes we really forget the women who are in marginalized communities, and they are either in the rural areas or nomadic people, but that they keep the music strongly alive in their daily life and tradition, and nobody even knows about their musical traditions and ceremonies. So. Sorry, I forgot what was the direction of your question? Was direction of your question?
Was transgenerational passing on.
Yes, sorry. So many times I saw that there is their daughters or son also, they were next to them, and they were singing. They were singing and performing. So I was asking always that, from where did you hear? And then yes, they were saying it's from my grandmother or grandfather, also both, like the family, we have been always singing. So for them, it's not a matter of if it's forbidden or not forbidden. Even they don't think it's for them. It's some part of their nature and daily life that they make music and sing. And its generation is, of course, is coming from generation to generation to these traditions.
Wow, great. I would have got goosebumps too if I would have been in your position. Do you have a good mood song that always works? And if so, which one is it? Or what kind of music do you listen to if you're in a bad mood? So if I wouldn't have been here today and you are so aroused, by all the things that happened today, what kind of music, if you were to listen to music, what kind of music would you listen to make your mood go up?
I really like of course, different. I'm very open to listen to music of different cultures. But if as a really personal answer, if I say I really like the Kurdish music, because I feel that the cheerful music, the rhythm, the cheerful rhythm that exists in the Kurdish music, very rarely I saw in other folk music of other regions. But there is coming with the dance movements, and I'm really very much interested in Kurdish music and rhythm. Yeah.
And because I have no idea, do you have any artists that you can think of right in that moment?
Yes, of course. We can, for the Kurdistan region, we can think about the singer actually is from Kobani region, from Kurdistan, north of Syria. Her name is Jinda. She's wonderful. Or, for example, there is another one. Its name Kawyar is from also Kurdistan region of Iraq. And the other one, one of the most interesting ones is for me is Hani Mujtahidi. That actually she's living in Berlin, and she's also the Kurdistan of Iran. And yes, these women, I really enjoy their the energy and the way they sing and perform, and they bring so much liveliness to the life, and I really like their music. Yes,
I would definitely have to ask for social media infos and everything like that, because I'm always so interested in that. Okay, last casual question before we come into your story of being a musician and the person you are. Have you ever listened to music in your youth where you think in retrospect, what kind of phase was that, or was somewhat embarrassing? Have you experienced something like that?
Yeah, I think, of course. I think everybody has. There are a lot of, as you said, a lot of pop music singers that we are. It's very actually, this pop music that I'm talking about, they are the generation that, not all of them, of course, but some of them, like for example, they are the ones that they, after the revolution, they left to go to United States. And there is a very big scene of pop musicians in Los Angeles that they are from Iran. That's why they call it, even they say Tehrangeles, music of Tehran, because there are a lot of Iranian people, big community, they live there, and mostly they are pop musicians. And some of them, it's just funny when still even till today, when we want to laugh and make jokes with some friends, we listen to the lyrics, what they are singing about, and but this was the music that we were listening for celebrations or weddings, or but the topics and the way they sing, it's really, really funny. Like sometimes, But I said not all, but I cannot imagine that. How possible that we were dancing with this music, but the way they say it, and it's really, really funny and strange a little bit. But I think it's in all cultures there is.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I think so. But I don't know. Sometimes if you come, for example, well, I guess if I would ask that question, one of those nomadic women that you talked about earlier, I highly doubt that they have music that they listen to when they're young, like pop music or whatever. Do you think they listen to pop music?
It could be, of course. Yeah, there are, but the older ones maybe less. No, I don't think so. But the more, unfortunately, yes, the more this the younger generations, they listen, of course, and that's why also it's a lot of influence also on their music, because they start to bring some like keyboards and like this. But this is to some regions that is not fitting, the music, but because it's easy to make the melody with the keyboard than the local instruments. So, but this is influence of exactly this pop music and the young generation. And I don't say that all the pop music is not good. There are very good quality also pop music. But you mean, but I think you understand what I mean. These ones that they are not really in good quality, and also the lyrics they use and these things.
Yeah. Well, great. So one question that everyone has to answer is about one's personal music love story. In your biography, it says you are an ethnomusicologist and curator, but on your homepage, the picture we are greeted with is you sitting with a traditional instrument in your hands, which I mentioned earlier. It's a tar, right? And henceforth, I have the impression as if you are a musician yourself. And can you tell us a little bit about you and the instrument that is depicted? How is your personal music love story as a musician?
Yes, I started to learn this instrument, tar, when I was like 12, 13 years old. So I was not that small, but the story was that I had seen this musical instrument in our family, like my uncle and also my grandfather. They were playing the same instrument, so I had heard this in the family. my parents directly, they were not musicians, but for example, my father was very much interested in music, and he knew it very well in like more like a theory or singing a little bit, but as more like as a hobby, but not like as a professional musician. But it was my own decision, and I was just interested, and I asked my parents that this I like to play this instrument too, and yes. So I started my musical journey in my life. Yes, I started with this instrument, and I still play it. Of course, I never could imagine any moment without, because this is the roots of my story. That how I came to the music scene. But and then I was living in Isfahan, and I always wanted to go to study also this, but we didn't have there was no university there, and because in Iran there is that time there was only 2 universities that they had music, and it was very few people, both male and female students, so it was very low chance to get in. Like maybe every year, maybe one person could get in with the tar, or I mean one girl, one boy, but like this sometimes, and it was very hard. And I really wish to go to continue this. So 3 years I wait, and that almost I could be graduated for my bachelor degree. in Iran it's 4 years, but all my friends, they were nearly graduating, but I was not accepting to study anything else. I said, I'm not interested in other topic. I like to study this. So I will try until I can get in. And then I could get in at the end, but yeah, it took time. That's why I also everything a little bit delayed. But I was happy that for me it was always important that to try to do efforts, like to, if you have a goal, if you really wish something, then you go for it like that, not to change it easily because it's not possible. And yeah.
So you ultimately studied that instrument, the tar?
Yes, I studied the tar performance, and then exactly during these years that I was studying, I went to Tehran to study this. And then during this time, many times it happened that we wanted to make concerts and performances. And many of these cases, we reached to the point that we wanted to bring it to the stage. And then they were saying, okay, it's okay. You can make it a stage, but not the female singer. It's not allowed to join. And this was brought me big questions. Always say, why? But what's the difference? So I'm playing and then she's singing. Why they don't let? They said, no, it's not. It's forbidden. And this was exactly the time that these questions came to my mind. That because we didn't have internet, like there was nothing that. And Iran is a very big country, you know. So it's when you say this approximately, they say it's 5 times of Germany, but we have same population. But you know, from north of Iran, from for example Caspian Sea to south of Iran to Persian Gulf is like you pass 2 countries or 3 countries. It's I mean when you compare to European structure of the distance is too far. So it was not that easy. Also that we know about other cultures and music and women. So I was just seeing a few people who were also coming to the university. So. And then I became more and more curious, and I started to ask and say, but then if they don't let, so it means that then where I hear them, then where I can hear the music of the women. So this started my question. And then because for my writing my bachelor thesis, then I said normally for tar performance, normally the case is that we do performance and finish. I asked the university that no, I don't want to do performance. For my thesis, I want to do research, to go to these regions to find out the women stories or songs of the city Shiraz. It's like I'm from Isfahan, so it's 400 kilometers south to Shiraz, the name. And they said, interesting, because that for them also was necessary. Okay, and then the journey started. So I went to Shiraz to find out the ceremonies that the women sing, and it was really, really fascinating to see that there were a lot of different rituals, ceremonies that only women perform and sing. And for example, there is one called Vasunak, It's called. There is a type of songs that is related to women, and mostly they sing it in weddings. But when they say wedding, it's not like a wedding of nowadays. We see just one day and finish. There, in that time, in the past, in Iran, wedding was 1 month or more.
Wow.
Yes, celebrations. They start from very beginning that they go to ask the permission of the family to bring the bride, and then what happens in between, and gifts and the stories and preparing the celebration. Everything was people, they do it together.
Oh my.
And each of this moment the women were singing and then tell their story and make it happen. So, and then when I hear these songs, it's a lot of imagination and pictures of that time that it was. Or, for example, a lot of rituals, like spirituality rituals. Or, for example, I tell you one of them, for example, it could be also interesting maybe. There was, in this city, there is, they are not orange, a type of orange family. I don't know what is the name of the fruit exactly. It's very sour. This one is... all the houses, they have this tree there, and it's like kind of holy, like that. This tree every year give fruits, and so some years that there was no fruit, like or less, the families they do a ritual that so we need to make this tree like a bride again. So then they make the tree. They put like a
veil. Like a wedding veil?
Veil, yeah. So they put on the top of tree, and they the women go a circle around, and they put like some sweets or like this, and they sing for them to make the tree again a bride, to hope that next year gives more fruit again, or fruits again. So this was very beautiful, and these are very old rituals. That, for example, the people, they were telling me they were like 80 years old, or they remember this, no? That they remember these things, these rituals. Or, for example, funerals. In funerals, it's because it was so touching and at the same time sad, because there are in funerals, like when especially someone young pass away, then in Iran, in this region, they sing wedding songs in the ceremony, in the funeral. And it's very, very strong, because they believe that, okay, this man or woman didn't celebrate the love of life. So they want to celebrate this still for this person, to the memorial. And then they sing the wedding song, the women, but in a totally different atmosphere. And it's so sad. It's the same song, same melody, but when you hear it in that occasion, it's really, really sad. So it's very interesting, this perspective of hearing also this, which occasion you are hearing and how hearing the music is. It's for me was very, very interesting to see.
And did you decide after that visit and during your studies that you have to document that also with film?
I was already documenting. I had very small little camera. I think one of the photo in my website, you can see the photos. In some of the photos, this little camera I had. I was starting documenting, but yes, I started after these trips. I said, okay, no, this is something I want to learn. I cannot find this information in the university, and there's no internet, and in the TV, also even our TV radio music of women is forbidden completely. And even they don't show the instruments. So I didn't know even the local instruments, folk instruments of the other regions where I see it. So there are books, some books, old books. But traveling and watching it was the best way. So I decided, okay, I want to go this way. And so I started traveling. And then... but that's why I then learned about this topic of ethnomusicology. So I thought, okay, this could be interesting, my interest, because then they teach a little bit about methodology of research and writing and interviewing and etc. So we didn't have this in Iran. So I went to Turkey. I went to Turkey because Turkey was closest country to Iran, that it was easy to go next. And there I studied my master's degree. And there I wrote about the women lullabies in Qashqai tribe. So this was my master thesis. That's why they were traveling a lot more in this nomadic tribe. Yeah, yes,
Okay.
yeah, or
Okay.
community, better to say.
Wow.
So yeah, this was really changed my life, and still till today, there are many other regions in Iran that I still could not go because it's so big and so different. Like imagine there are a lot of ethnic groups, there are a lot of religions, languages. Like there are some regions we don't even understand each other. It's totally different language, different dialect, religions.
Tell me about it. I live in small Germany, and sometimes I don't understand the people from the south.
Yeah, a lot of languages and religions. No, because I mean this I like to mention because people when they say Iran, they think it's all like there are lots of languages, or the religion, the government of Iran is Islam.
Mm-hmm.
But this was actually also brought into Iran. That's what there are a lot of older religions in the region.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Zoroastrian is the main one, but it's forbidden now. So you don't see the people, the practice, or there are many also Jewish, Christianity. There are other religions, many religions living together. But officially, everybody is Muslim, and that's okay. I mean, there are many people, it's their religion, but not everyone. There are a lot of religions that hopefully they should have also their freedom, because this also, the religions is very much connected to their cultural practices, and the way they do that is a little bit, not a little bit, more than, it's too much limited for many of the communities.
Yeah, I think so too. In so many countries.
Yeah.
It's not only Iran, but
yes,
if you look into the history, it's devastating to see how much political change has killed a lot of like traditional music, religions, and all that kind of stuff in communities, because they basically put their view and their political system or religious system on top of everyone, and it's a very sad, in my point of view, very sad development. So I'm glad that you are advocating for this to stop and really put a point in, hey, people, Iran is bigger than what you know, and that it includes so many different people. And this is so much worth saving, That's also, as we talked a little bit earlier, but that's what was my impression when watching your documentaries, that I was so surprised, or delighted actually in a happy way and also sad way to see people, like human beings, when I watch your documentaries. And I really recommend it to everyone to watch your documentaries that are out there, because it gives us Westerners basically finally the time, or not only finally, there are a lot of documentaries out there, but with music, it's something special. And I was very moved, even to tears, because you can see it's just, they think about love, they have relationships, those people. And for them, life is more than what we get to see about terror and ISIS and all that kind of history, especially after 9/11. And it also made me very sad to see that this is the only thing I get to see. If I don't get to meet you, for example, or if I don't really dig into the stories and into documentaries, I will only see this one particular picture of terror states. And I find that very disappointing. And meanwhile, it's not only videos of female voices from Iran and Afghanistan, but also, isn't it Turkmenistan or no, Kurdistan, right? The regions,
Kurdistan,
regions of Kurdistan and so on. And I think you have more countries coming up, right?
Hopefully.
So what's that?
I will go on, yeah.
What is your driving force behind that, to do all those documentaries?
So yes, what actually you were also saying that unfortunately, yes, due to the political situations in these regions, most of the pictures people hear internationally from these regions are always more about these issues of conflict and war and problems. But of course, unfortunately, there is this dark side of this story, reality, the fact. But there are also a lot of life is going on that the human beings are making it possible. And especially the women, with all the pressures, they are really strongly daily for making this happen, and they keep music traditions and living traditions alive. No, so this stories, and that's why I always really have this like I don't call it a mission or so personal motivation that I really want to share this to the world, that these women of these regions, they are not the victims. They are really strong. They are really strong that how they can build and go on. And this is very much valuable to see also this side of it.
Hello, dear listeners. It's me, Zoe, with a little advertisement on my own behalf. So far, this podcast has been completely produced by me from back to front. If you want to support my work, you can find all the information and links in the podcast description. I would like to point out that a podcast lives from the fan community, so please share, like, and love my podcast for all it's worth, or visit my page on SteadyHQ and become a member. Thank you very much in advance for your applause and appreciation. Yours truly, Zoe.
Not to say, okay, only there are problems and these women, they cannot do anything and just sitting. No, this women actually, they are really powerful, that how they could make this happen in these situations, how they are continuing their music in Iran, Afghanistan. They are different, totally different cases. For example, in Iran, they are more for human rights or political issues. They are really for women rights issues. Afghanistan, of course, there were a lot of also not security of the situation of their living, unfortunately. But still, I saw women, how strongly they keep going on, and they go to keep their music classes, to go on without thinking any moment that, and this is power, this is a strength that I like, that the people get inspiration, they see also this side of this, and also to hear this powerful, beautiful voices that they can be. I really wish that these voices, I always say, I really wish these voices be heard. And many times we listen, we go to the concerts, music. So here, I'm in many places, but we say, okay, the music's beautiful, but who is creating this music? Who is behind? What is their stories? Who are these humans? And why this person sings like this? What is the voice? And we humans, they have really their voice, that says a lot, and how they express it, and why this kind of music, why. So this is, for me, also this part of my research also now, in my research PhD project, that is to see that, to exactly understand that how the women, they go to different genres of music, and how they decide to one person is a classical singer, and one is a metal singer, or one is like a folk musician. So it is all connected to their situation and story, that it's not suddenly, of course, it's interest, but also sometimes not only interest. There are a lot of family issues, social issues, a lot of things in environmental issues also, that what kind of region they are living, and this influences are their singing traditions, and also voice, and what they are singing about.
And so, because I only read that you doing PhD studies, what's the title of those PhD studies? What do you call that then?
It's the politics of musical performance and ethnographic of music, female musicians in post-revolutionary Iran.
Wow.
So it's more like, when I say the politics of musical performance, is more about the strategies that the women create to overcome the censorships. So this is very, very interesting, and how they could fight for their rights all these years.
I perceive you already as a strong woman, because you said earlier that you always believed that you have to fight for something if you really want to do it, even though it takes time. And now you have already mentioned a few stories of women that you've met and what kind of impression they made on you. But on top of that, what have you learned personally from all the women you have met and interviewed? Did you take something for you with you in your future path? And what was that? Can you mention, like, one or two or three things?
Yeah, as I said, the strength, the patience, and to live, really live the life. Like, because we see that more and more I see, especially when I traveled also, or when I live here in Berlin, many times I see among my friends or musicians, they sometimes complain about that they are also international scene. I mean, I'm not talking about only locals, but I mean about the situation of rehearsals or studio or this equipments or place to play like this. But I always tell them that, but you can still go on in your music, So if that we wish something, and as I said, especially the voice, we have it. It's a kind of, I always say, it's a natural instrument that is with you everywhere. Like and I saw that they really know the value of this, just to sing, and that's why they use any situation they have in their life. Many of them that they can practice, they can sing, and that's why also they are really like many situations we see that they are very much ready to perform, because they came to in 2017 when they came to Villa Elizabeth, the Berlin, the concert hall. Some of them, it was first time going on a stage in front of and this was very emotional moment, because they go for the first time in front of 300 or more audience. And they were so much confident. And then some of the audience, I remember, they asked me, "Are you sure that is it first time?" I said, "Yes, the woman is first time this experience." But this confident and this believing in themselves that it's possible to go on, this strength, this is important, that we need to have in our life. To of course there is always problems around, but how we can go on, how we can still go on in our creativity and peace, and to bring the voice out. This is we need to find a way to go on. This is.
And if you are in a time of conflict, is that what you think of those women, for example? Do they give you strength? Like, when you have situations that are difficult, for example?
Yes, a lot.
Do you sometimes recall those women, and then it's like, no.
Exactly, for sure. Yes, exactly. Like when I see the way they do, yes, of course, no excuse for not, because I see, especially I say in Afghanistan, even I can say even more. I saw what kind of danger of survival issues they are facing, and still they go on to their practices and they keep their music every day. And this is wow, this is even a further situation, the level of problems, okay, there are regulation issues or rights, but when you know that, okay, you go out of your home, maybe you don't know if there might be explosion in the next street every moment, and still you go to your music lessons regularly and do this is even I cannot imagine it, that how is possible, like people imagine when even we watch a film, we think, okay, we hide or something if there is. But of course, and there was one of them was saying that, of course, each human being is looking for survival and living. Nobody wants the war, but still, also they don't forget their living. There is life strongly in these regions, and this is this side I want to show. This mostly my motivation to the documentaries is also to see that the world, they see this part and they can travel also to these regions. There is not that, because this is a lot of this public, they give us this information that this region is totally not safe or not possible to travel. No, it's not true. There are a lot of regions it's possible to travel. It's totally safe, and it's, if of course you have, of course it's always for everywhere. I think you know where to go or what to do. I really always invite the artists, the musicians, to go, to connect, to do research, to do films, to do music as much as possible. I mean, of course, for women, it's a lot of limitations, but still there are many ways. And especially today that we have the social media channels, it's the biggest, most important tool now for the connections for us to people here also all over the world. They have the chance to connect and to know and learn about each other or communicate to make it possible.
And is that also to show that why you decided to do kind of like a sequel? Because I think you did the documentary about Voices of Afghanistan, but now you do a sequel, right? Like a second, like an aftermath after the conflict, Life After Life, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And but were you traveling? Did you get a chance to travel recently to the country actually? Or did
No.
Is it just digital, like social media and videos?
No, because these women, they came out. So they are, one of them is in Germany, two of them in Germany, one of them is Italy. So we met them, yes, outside. So we could meet them and to see, okay, what's happening. So we went, for example, there, one of them is Somaya Karimi, that she's now in Italy, south of Italy. And so we went to see her, what's her situation, because unfortunately, yes, the world of news, the world or like this is just so much changing, and this unfortunately, of course, because a lot of negative things is happening also in the world, but still, we the people, is our choice that we forget or not forget things, and we care and to ask at least, and especially again, I always emphasize on this. Digital tools we have now, so it's not that complicated to check to that or the people who are working the cultural scene, we support each other. That yes, this people that really they completely lost their life, that they had to start from completely zero. They can enter quicker to the music society to go on their work, and yes, so
wow.
Actually, and for your story, I like to connect you to one of the Afghan women singers.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
please. And is there, after everything that you have seen and all the interviews you have done, is there a conclusion for you personally? What would you like to see change for female musicians in the Middle East? Do you have like because, for example, here, everybody's talking about gender pay gap and all that kind of stuff. Is there something in the Middle East, in all the Middle Eastern countries, especially for female musicians, that you would like to see change?
Yeah, I think they have their basic rights that they can. I mean, there are, as I said, there are different situations now in these countries. For example, in Afghanistan, the women, they are not allowed even to continue their education. And so, of course, music is dangerous. Even they can lose their life if they say even they are a musician. And there are amazing musicians living, I know, still in Afghanistan. And I hope that there is this chance that can continue their music. In Iran, the more they put pressure, they put limitation, actually opposite. They were increasingly the women, more and more we see that they play music, and it's wonderful. I sometimes I cannot believe that I see sometimes very young women and how they skilled and professionally they are working in their field and music. So I just hope that yes, there is more space, that they have their really, really basic rights, that they can perform their music. And because the solution is not just immigration, that to go, okay, I cannot sing there, okay, then I go. And at the moment, many of the women, they are the ones that they have the condition, they exit the country. But I know that many of them, it's really, not many, I think majority of them is forced migration because they don't want, because they want to stay in their country. Because many of them, they compose inspired, and this is coming from their nature, their environment. When they want to compose a song or they sing, it's related to the place they are coming from, and they like this. And now, because of the situation, only because they don't have the rights, many of them, they are exiting and they go to different parts of the world. It's fine, of course, they will continue also their work, but this picture also, I always like to say that is not the solution, that because many people I faced when I was talking about the issues of Afghanistan, many people immediately say, okay, then it's fine now. Everything's fine now. Then they are safe and good. But okay, yes, maybe they are not getting killed. But if they really have the environment that they are used to and they want to make their music and the situation, and they are completely new in the new society that they don't know even the language. So they had to, just for survival, they had to come. But it's so hard to begin a music like career and work, especially when as a female. I myself have also immigration background.
Yes.
I came to Germany, but of course I was not forced. I came to continue my education, and still I saw how hard it is to find the trustful people to work with, to collaborate, to that you be sure that it's just you are in the right place to bring the stories and to continue the work.
Yeah.
So it's very, very hard here.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know.
I mean, it's hard for, but at the same time, I like to add. At the same time, also I should not say only the negative parts, that hardness, but at the same time there are a lot of opportunities. So I always say I'm very thankful about it, because actually here I could make these festivals, I could make these films that I could not have the chance to do it inside my country. Because if I would in Iran, then I could not. They not even let this. And so here the opportunity, yes, that's why also I always say efforts and hope for the women, other women, maybe they are listening to my story now, or that they immigrate. There is always a lot of ways, and actually know that we can, so we need to go on. And we create there are a lot of possibilities, especially in Germany, for creating events, festivals, music, and that's why till now I could go on in my work, and I will hopefully continue.
And is that what helps you to cope? Because I can imagine that. I mean, it's just from my perspective, of course, but it's probably painful to see what's going on in Iran and with all the people that you've met. And so what you do here, is that a way for you to cope and to deal and to keep hope? Yeah.
Yes, it's very hard, especially the last after this death of Gina Amini, that this women revolution happened. So this, of course, the situation gets really, really much worse, because even they start to suspend many musicians, artists, or they, for example, if they get their passports, they cannot even exit the country. Many of them, some of them got arrested. Like, I really like to mention the name of the musician Too Much Salehi, that he's a wonderful rapper, that he's now more than 6 months in the jail and really, really under pressure. And he was just trying for the human rights, and the songs is like, and now he's in this condition. And really, I hope that the world can hear his voice. And so yes, many people, because of course there is a lot of pressure on us when was the situation we are far from the country. But at the same time, my personal idea also with the other musician friends, I was saying that because sometimes the scene was very low, that they were saying, no, we cannot play music because it's very sad in Iran at the moment. I cannot play. And then we were discussing, and I was always saying that actually now we need to play music, because now the people need mentally also to listen to music, to get support, to go on, and to cheer the people up that we have to go on. We have to say, and actually, if we don't play music, or the ones, this is exactly the aim of the government of Iran, because they, at the end, they like to not the people have the music. So if we don't play, then no, we have to fight. Still, even in any situations, we go on with our music. So yes, when this here or there, even there in Iran, I see sometimes I'm really shocked that they are really risky situation, but they keep their music, dances, songs. And there are a lot of videos now that these women are creating, and they are living inside Iran. Yeah,
and that's for you. Music is basically a way for you to cope too. So and to have hope.
Definitely, yes. Yeah.
And do you sometimes, I don't know, that's my maybe naive way of thinking. Do you sometimes come home here in your Berlin home and you pick up your instrument and then you just play on your own?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's calming down and yeah, and also my instrument, tar, when we look, always also I really like to remember it's a symbolic instrument. It's a very old instrument and the body from the back, it's like a body of a human is that who is sitting on the ground. And it's a symbolic that we always remember that we are really nothing in the universe and to be down to earth. And yes, just this symbol always for me is very important to remember. And also the the Torah, maybe it's interesting also. I mean, that is completely natural. There is a skin on the top that is from skins of the sheep. I always say fortunately or unfortunately both, but the hand is from the bones of camel. The threads are the veins of the cow, and the string bridge is the horns of the wild goat, and the body is from the mulberry tree, and the hand is walnut tree, and everything natural. But at the same time, it's very old. I always think that there is a soul in it. There is it's connected to nature, and it's a very old instrument. So I connect. I think the more we connect to the nature, we don't forget, even if we live in the middle of the city. This keeps us also, yes, to listen differently or to hear the sounds that we don't forget from where we are coming from and where we are connected. Yes. So this instrument always helps me a little bit when I play. It connects me somehow to the nature.
Nice. And of all the projects you are involved in, because you have done a lot, what is your personal favorite right now and why?
It's difficult. I don't know. It's all of them, but favorite. Maybe this I like to say. This is a new project we are doing. It's I created an ensemble. It's called Inner Unity Ensemble. It's very new. In February, we had the primary by invitation of Duisburg Philharmonic. I created this orchestra, chamber orchestra, and the woman singer is Samin Gorbani. That she's moving actually to Germany also very soon. So, and we started this in February, and this is one of my most favorite musical activities I've done, because I met all these people that they are involved in this project. For example, like Mohan Mirarab, he's Iranian Austrian jazz composer and musician. And for example, there is also people that they are, for example, Valentina Belanova is Italian, but she's very open to learn a lot of music of cultures of other traditions. So the people who are really open to learn something that they are not always, that we think that we just learn the music of our countries, but we are open to exchange and to learn. And this, for me, this ensemble is so much liveliness and learning from each other and to exchange. And we are as it's just born new. I really hope that it can grow and go to be heard more. And we are waiting for Samin Gorbani, that she was one of the also characters of the film. Her photo also is in the poster. So she's one of my favorite singers from Azer region. She's from northwest of Iran. And so when she comes, so hopefully we will have also concerts in Berlin soon. So.
Nice. Ooh, I'm looking forward to that. I need to come. And what are your visions for the future, for yourself and other projects that you have? What would you like to realize in the future? Is there more countries of the Middle East that you want to join, where you have women that you want to show and present, or whatever? I don't want to lay anything into your mouth, basically. So tell me, do you have a vision, like in 10 years or 20 years?
10 years or 20. So, I mean, I will continue as much as I really like to go. No, it's not only Middle East, because I already started, for example, I traveled to, a few months ago, I traveled to Ghana, for example, and for me it was really interesting to this was a university research trip, but I learned a lot even in this trip that of the role of the musicians and especially the female musicians in the country. So there are a lot to discover in the world, and I of course I don't want to limit it. So I like to go on as much as there is the possibility and chance. I will go on, but for sure, definitely to hearing more and more this human stories, real stories. For me, this is the best life journey and education that I can get and then exchange or to go on life.
And are you sometimes a little bit, let's say, biased, like because you live this life of ambiguity, like you are a musician, but you also have this educational project or this research project. Do you sometimes miss that you have less time for you being a musician but doing the movies, or do you always get it perfectly balanced?
No, I honestly, really honestly talking, I enjoy so much playing music. I don't, I play less than before in the stages, so like very less, if every few months, maybe one concert or something. But because I became more interested in other fields, for research, writing or making documentaries, made me, I don't know, because I thought I can discover more, and so I can share it easier with the people to the stories, like with the documentaries or music festivals, for example, creating festivals that people can come and together we see something. I enjoyed. I like both, but like this direction a little bit more became more in my life. So no, I could not keep the balance completely, but I feel it's fine like this. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because there was some part of my life that I was playing more, and now I'm doing this part a little bit more. So I don't know in the future.
But that's okay for you for now.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. And is there anything that I haven't asked you yet that you would like to share with the listeners now?
No, I just I like to invite the people that to go on to find out about, like to really through the music, through the artists, concerts, they find out about the reality of different regions and stories and cultures, and music is one of the best ways. No, like we don't need to listen always the news channels or political news. We can also go to the concerts or to the musicians, but also it's nice always to talk to the musicians, even if 1 minute, like to say hello and to communicate. This brings a lot difference and connection to the people and cultures. This is something that I really like, that to invite to say that that maybe they try to do. And also, like through social media, like there will be, I think, some links they can find these women. They're always would be happy people connect, to write to them, to communicate with them. Some of them already in Germany, or even they are far. It's nice to connect to each other.
I thank you for your time and for the invitation to be here in your home. Sometimes you could hear the police in the background. And for the tea. And yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Also, I appreciate your curiosity and questions. It's very nice, valuable.
Thank you.